Today we're going to make a sauce for our zucchini noodles that'll taste like it's been stewed for hours and all you've done is put it in a dehydrator. First, I'm going to let you know that I have dehydrated hot and mild peppers into little chunks, and I've also dehydrated my own homegrown tomatoes. If you don't have that, you're just going to use sun-dried tomatoes. I've taken these are beautiful though. I've taken about 1/3 cup of these, and I'm putting it in my little French press with some water and letting them soak. And you can use the water as well in your recipe or just drink it. It's amazing. It's just a lovely tomato broth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dice up some 2 mini bell peppers, a little bit of red onion. I have some homemade pesto. If you don't have that, you're going to use garlic and some lemon juice. I have zucchini that will equal about maybe 1/3 or 1/2 cup. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cherry tomatoes. And I didn't have fresh basil, but I did have basil in the freezer, so I've taken out probably a good tablespoonful. And then I do have some dried basil, dried oregano, which again has been from my garden. I've dried them in the dehydrator and munched them up and just put them in those containers. And then I will toss the ingredients in a little bit of cold pressed oil, and it's your choice whether you want to use oil or not use oil, and of course which type of oil. I prefer the extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, but sometimes I use the avocado as well. So I'm going to dice on the fine little mesh one here, everything except for the tomatoes. And the tomatoes I will use the wider one, and this is my slap chopper. It's actually a very handy tool. You just press down, give it a bang, and your stuff's done. So I will get that together and put it in a bowl and get right back to you. So I used 2 teaspoons of the soaked water. I decided to use a teaspoon of lemon juice. I shook in some basil, just, you know, freestyle, oregano, and a tablespoon of olive oil. And I just mixed it up in the handy slap chopper's bowl in the bottom because it wasn't full. Why use another utensil you have to wash? And so I've stirred everything up quite nicely. If you want to add salt, add a pinch of salt. And I'm going to dehydrate this on a non-stick surface at 115 for about 2 hours. So here it is ready to go in the dehydrator. It's about 1/4 inch thick, and in a couple hours the masterpiece will be ready. With the mixture in the dehydrator, I thought I would spiralize up my noodles for the dinner, and I've used the remaining bit of zucchini. It didn't seem like it was enough, so I've added a couple inches of a sweet potato, yam, and I'm going to air dry these for a couple hours, and then I'm going to go ahead now and make the tomato sauce with the remaining of the soak water. I have 7 of the grape tomatoes in there, the rest of the soak water, which I'm going to say was about 1/3 cup, and 1 soft medjool date. I'm just going to use my immersion blender because really this is a small amount for a Vitamix jug. It'll just get lost in the bottom. And then if the sauce isn't quite as runny as what you want, just add a little more water. Simple as that. I feel the sauce is a little bit runny, but what I'm going to show you is really nothing can go wrong. So I've put half of the sauce onto this, and I'm going to dehydrate it, and it'll intensify and thicken it. And then by the time you need to use it, the remaining liquidy sauce will make it just perfect. So there are no mistakes with raw food, other than if you don't like what you taste. But other than that, you just keep adapting as the recipe carries on. Here it is after a few hours. It's just amazing. So I've taken half of this mixture and half of the noodles that have been air drying. And the noodles I mixed together with the tomato sauce, but I wasn't really happy with the tomato sauce, so I ended up adding tahini, a little bit of lemon juice, and I think that was a teaspoon of tahini, a few drops of lemon juice, and a few drops of maple syrup, and some water, and blended, and it turned into a nice creamy, tasty sauce, exactly what I was looking for. And so I've tossed the noodles, made a little nest in the middle, put the lovely mixture inside, and then just added a little greenery around. So there we have it. Absolutely delicious.